I guess the only thing left to do is go out for a drive, right? And we'll show you what to expect. Let's do it. AC is on. It's a little 72 degrees out today, so we have the AC on today, but as you can see, it just started right up and went right to idle. There's no fast idle, there's no low idle. We can blip the throttle, there's no issue. This vehicle is up to temperature, but it does this in the morning as well, I can assure you. So there's really no drama here, right? So we're going to put it into drive, and you'll see that the vehicle just goes into drive. So off we go, tipping into the gas. You see the vehicle didn't lunge. It's not over accelerating. It's not doing anything that would be out of the ordinary. Very simple to drive. The idle is falling down as we come into a stop sign. So essentially this day-to-day driving will be just like it was before, except with a little bit more, oomph. Naturally you have the supercharger there. So no real issue here. One of the things that you really want to keep in mind is when you have 448 horsepower at the wheels, you need to really understand what that is. Guys, if you know what a 392 or a 6.4 liter Scat Pack Charger is, you know that vehicle is putting down the same horsepower as this right here. We're getting onto the highway here, so we're just gonna get onto the highway and show you how this thing accelerates. Okay, there we go. That's 80 miles an hour in yards, and it didn't take a mile and a half to do it like it would before. So now you have a good sense of how quickly this vehicle could go. And I want you to keep in mind that the gearing in this vehicle is something like 268. So it's not very conducive to short bursts of accelerations like that. You do need, good torque and good horsepower to move a gear like that. Now this is a base model. It doesn't have any of the sport stuff on it. So this is a bottom of the barrel vehicle that we're using for testing here. But as you can see, we're cruising down the highway at nearly 70 miles an hour at 2,000 RPMs, and it's just humming along. It didn't do anything silly by way of transmission. The shifts shifted as they should. The downshift call for power came up properly. The tipping's fine. If I were to ask for a gear change, I just step on the gas and there she goes. Come off the gas and she sits right back down into a gear, into the higher gear to get better gas mileage. She'll go right into a con mode. You'll notice the light here on the dashboard will go on and off, which means it'll try to sip gas. We don't have to override a system like that. So getting back to that Scat Pack, if you can imagine that a 392 puts down about 420 horsepower, right? And let's say 430 to 440 pounds of torque. A vehicle like this is putting down 448 horsepower and 400 pounds of torque. I mean, there's very little argument as to whether or not you'll have the same type of experience driving it, with the exception of some torque, which I can understand having a 6.4 liter versus a 3.6 liter. This is a lot of fun. This vehicle is an enormous amount of fun. It might not be set up for the curves and by way of suspension and stopping, because there's a lot of weight here, so you'd want to probably update your brakes and your suspension when you have this much power. But ultimately you have the power, and now you have an option that allows you to build your dream car. The installation time on this kit is something like 6 hours. So once you got the front bumper off on this vehicle and you've installed the intercooler and done what you have to do in terms of getting the hardware in there, I mean, this thing could be built in a weekend. So it bodes a very good argument for not having to get out of a vehicle like this, which fits a lot of people and a lot of stuff and is very easy to own, and also have an enormous amount of power as well. So at the end of the day, we feel we've put out a product here that will change the way you guys look at this vehicle. Certainly did for us, when we saw that type of horsepower and this type of performance. And shortly after this, we will have an 8-speed at the shop that someone was kind enough to send to us to get supercharged. Thank you. And what we'll do is we'll demonstrate the difference between the two. But at the end of the day, it's a great vehicle. So there you have it. There's a short trip, highway burst, and city driving with a RIPP Supercharged Dodge Charger, 3.6 liter Pentastar. And we're quite impressed with it, and we're sure you will be too. Kits should be out sometime later this year, so keep an eye out for them. Give us an email. Make sure you follow all our social media. You can check us out online, www.rippmods.com, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we're there. And if anything, just give us a call. We'd love to talk. So thanks for watching, and make sure you hit subscribe.